Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. Hope you come back for more. And if you are returning, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Today I'm going to be doing another page in the Junk Journal July 2024. It is a set of prompts that have been set by Meg Journals, and I will leave her link in the description box below if you want to find the prompts. It is day, I had to think for a minute, day 15. So July the 15th. The prompt that she set is homemade, and I have been doing an affirmation each day. Today's affirmation is around persevering, even in the face of challenges. If you haven't caught my tutorials before, there is a tutorial for all of the pages that we've done to date. And let's get started. I still really love that page. So my affirmation for today is I possess the inner strength and courage to persevere in the face of uncertainty. And sometimes we just need to persevere, even if we think we can't continue on. So I've made a little journal card, and then on the back side I have a little pocket here which can house a little some hidden information or something that you don't want people to see if they're flipping through your journal, something important to you or sentimental. But around the prompt of homemade, what I thought I would do is show you how to make some of your homemade stamps. So I do a lot of my little stamps for mark making. So if I'm doing jelly printing or just different bits and bobs. I had a bunch of wooden blocks, so a long time ago I just did some little swirls and more swirls, some arrows. These were blocks that had a red rubber stamp on them, and I actually took the rubber stamp off and put them on a clear heavy bit of acetate instead of these big blocks, just for storage reasons. But then I had these blocks and I wanted to do some of my own stamping. So, especially for art journaling and stuff where you just want a bigger stamp to make your mark. So one way that you can make your own stamps is just by taking your corrugated cardboard and I've just mounted this on a piece of 110 cardstock, really kind of thick cardstock that I got in Michael's. At Michael's, you can normally get a 65 pound and 110 pound. So I think I got 2 pieces of that 110 pound. And then I just made a little handle thing. And to make the handle thing is really easy. I just took a piece of that 110 cardstock, and then you just fold it in half, and then fold back some little wings like so. You probably know this already. And then I just glue it on the back so that I've just got a handle so I can pick this stamp up and down. You will need for this, well, you won't need it, but I did use some foam. So the foam that I have, which I'm just digging out here, I had this really old piece of foam that I've had kicking around for a long time. So and then I think it's at the dollar store, if not Michael's. You want, well, for what I'm going to show you first, you just want a thin, this is just thin foam. It's not the really thick stuff. And what I did to get some of these images is I just took some of my die cuts and I ran it through my die cut machine, and it cuts that thin foam no problem. Okay, so I ran it back and forth a couple times just to make sure. But that's where I got sort of the leaves and those leaves, some flowers. So I did realize that I didn't realize when I bought it, but on this foam you have sort of a more of a flat side, and then you have a little bit of an embossed side. If you can see, that's kind of like bubbly. And then this one here is some lines, and the back is, so that's kind of wavy. So what I did with this one here is I actually cut out so you can see the little bumps. But if you don't like the little bumps, the little dots, then just turn it around the other side. And for today, I've got some more leaves that I did. So this one here and this one here. So if you don't have a die cut machine and stamps, what I did is I cut out just an image that I had, and I placed it on the foam. I traced it with my pencil, and then I just cut it out. So it was this one here. So I just cut it out of the foam, and it would make a good little daisy. You could have made it a little bit, embellish it a little bit more if you wanted to by cutting slits into it and whatnot. And then with this one here, I just took the foam and I just hand drew some leaves. And so what I thought we would do today is just use the stamps in some tags. So I did make a belly band for our page, and I'm just going to get that down. And this is going to be kind of where we can stick my big affirmation tag that can go under here. Thought about doing another little pocket, but I kind of liked this idea because with this, I also made some little pockets where our tags can go. So not only do you have a little spot where you can, I'll wait till that dries, where you can tuck your journal card underneath, but then I just took a strip of paper and then some little pockets, and that will house some of our tags. So I'm just going to let that dry. So for the tags, I wanted to do a couple of things. Firstly, I need to get a piece of scrap paper, which I did not do beforehand. This is good enough. And then I want to put lines on the back. So I'm going to use this wherever that skinny lined one went, this one here. So this was actually a piece of the zarf. And you're going to wonder, what in the world is a zarf? Maybe some of you already know what a zarf is. But, excuse me, a zarf is a zarf is a holder. And, there was a picture there, that you get kind of at the coffee shops. So I'm just giving you a little bit of, you might already know this. The cardboard sleeve on a coffee cup is called a zarf. So this zarf came from Starbucks, right? And on the inside, it had this lovely little corrugated lines there. And then this one just came from some just Amazon packing or something in the corrugated cardboard. So I thought maybe I would use the stamp. Now, if you want the stamp, let me see, I need a piece of, okay, if you don't want the stamp to run off the end, and you want a little border around it, then just put a little piece of paper down. You could tape that down with some, around it so that it doesn't move, and then we can just stamp the background and see what happens. Sometimes this is a surprise. See, and that's just enough. I like that. If you wanted it more, what I would do is I would ink it up. Because it is cardboard, it's going to absorb some of the ink. So I'd ink and stamp off a couple times until it was good and juicy. But I like that. So then with the bigger lines here comes Chester. He hears me talking. It will look like that. So if we ink it up a little bit more, and I might need to ink my ink pad, and we're not worried about it going really over, then we can just press that down good. And we've got some lines for the back of our tags. I do like the small ones and I like the big ones, but I think I'm going to go more with some more big ones. The more you use the stamp, the better it gets. But again, it's for mark making, really. You could get intricate, and if you're into, carving and stuff, you could. Oh yes, you could take the foam cut out more details and stuff. And then what you could do is you could put a coat of like varnish or glue or something that would be non-porous, and then it would you would be able to make a better stamp. But I'm happy with that. So then on the front, I kind of thought we might just do a couple, like what I did here, just a couple imprints on it. So let's try this one, see what we get. Because that one stamps up a lot better because that's the foam and I've been using it. The cardboard, maybe not so much. So I've got my little daisy there. Oh, and I want to put one down here too. Oh, my doily. Oh, that's cute. And then maybe down the bottom. Okay, and then I would just let it dry. You can't really wipe it off. So, and then what about if we did a couple leaves, maybe? Maybe one of those. Kind of going. One of those. Yeah, let's do one of these. So it just gives you a nice little way to make some stamps that are homemade, that especially for like journaling and stuff. Just stamp it off. So I think that's a cute idea. So yeah, so you get the picture with that. So that's our homemade idea. So as far as our page goes, I got ink on my fingers, but that's all right. I possess the inner strength and courage to persevere in the face of uncertainty. Oops. I don't know why that didn't tack down. I might need... It seems to be tacked down there now, but it lifted right up. Okay, so we can get our little journal tag in there. With our little secret hidden pocket in the back. And then I just pulled out just some scraps that I had in my ribbon bin, just to put a few little scraps around there. And then with my twine, just going to tie a bow around it. I hope everybody's doing well. I slept pretty good last night, but I woke up tired. So I ran over to Tim Hortons and got a coffee, but it's a decaf coffee, so it's not going to wake me up. Okay, so then we have a journal tag here, so we could write something on the back, as well as, you know, you could put a photo or another memory there, and then that will just slot into our pocket. And then with this one here, just going to do the same thing. So I was asked if I have a video of how I made the journal, and I didn't, but I thought I would just quickly go over. I don't have one for this journal, but I thought I'd quickly go over kind of how I just put mine together, how I started. And so I just started with some brown paper, and I measured it to the size that I wanted my journal. So for this one here, I wanted it to be 7.5 inches tall, and then about 5 inches wide. And I don't really know why. After I made it, I kind of thought, oh, maybe I'd like it a little bit shorter, so it was kind of like a little bit chunkier, like slimmer this way. But I had already put down some of my background paper, so I didn't want to kind of ruin the effect that I had been going for. But yeah, so I just kind of cut down some brown paper to the size that I kind of wanted, and then the height of it, the 7.5, I didn't cut it lengthwise, but I knew I wanted it about 5 inches. So I measured and folded it at 5 inches. And then I just glued another piece of paper onto it. And then I just kept adding little scraps. So beforehand, I gathered up all kinds of my scraps and things that I wanted to be in the journal, like old artwork, book pages, just ledger paper, ticket stubs, that kind of stuff. I had that all to hand. And then, let's see here. And then, there we go. Okay, yeah, so then, yeah, I started with just a piece of brown paper. I measured it 7.5 to 5 over, and then I folded it. And then with this flap here, I just added another paper. And to start with, I did measure my 7.5, but as I got going, I didn't. I would just, after I got the first few pages, then I would just trim off anything that was on the axis. So then I just did that, and then where it was overlapped, I would fold it back to be flush with the 5 inches. And then, so then I probably did another page. I'm not sure if I did or not, but then I just started to glue bits on. And when I got a little bit of a length, then I just grabbed a bunch of scraps. Then I would just fold it. When I got to a little bit more than 5, oh, I only want it on this bit right now. Then I would okay, and then I just kept building on to that, and then I would make sure that that's glued onto there, and then just kept gluing bits on. And then I could come back later and make sure that it's all tacked down. And I didn't worry about it being, where am I going with this? I didn't really worry about it being thin paper, because if you've been following me, I sometimes add stuff to the papers, more layering or card, pattern paper or something. This was just kind of to get the base of the journal done. So then I just kept going. And when I got to, like I said, when I got to about 5.5, then I would just fold the page. That doesn't want to stick there. I would just keep folding the page, waiting for like stuff to dry. And keep adding pages. My Elmer's glue. The humidity here today is insane. Like, I'm not even doing anything and I'm sweating, so probably why the glue is not drying quickly. And then I just kept going with it. And folding it back and forth so that it started to form an accordion. And that's how I did it. And you can put whatever you want. Like I said, in this one here, I have just pieces of ledger paper, just some scrap paper, piece of a message pad that I had, and then I made it so that there was enough for 31 days. I should have added a little bit more. And initially I didn't have a cover at all. It was just the accordion part of the journal, but then I wanted to have something to kind of cover it, and I knew that the spine, I would probably keep extending the spine, and I'm just going to put a little score line there and another little score line so that eventually the spine may end up being, I don't know, another inch thicker, which means that the front cover is going to shrink this way. But as I was saying yesterday, I'm just going to put another flap, glue another little flap on to come round, and maybe put a magnetic closure or I might do some ties around or something. But yeah, so that's kind of how I put the journal together. But I think for today, we've covered our homemade. So just an idea about trying to do some homemade stamps. You can cut it out die cuts. You can trace an image. If you're good at drawing, you can even just take and draw some leaf shapes and then cut those out. I just use my Elmer's glue to glue it onto my cardboard, and that's it for today. So I hope you were inspired in some way, and I hope that you are well and safe, and my thoughts are with some of those of you who are struggling. But until we meet again, probably tomorrow, then I do hope you stay safe and well, and bye for now.